Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, I'm going to bring you guys a full Power League guide for the upcoming season. So as you guys can see, I've been grinding Power League like crazy. Currently number 3 in the world in solos, so I'm giving you guys the best comps, the best tips and strategies for your pick and ban stage. Before we get into today's video, use my creator code if you're looking to get something in the shop. That would be greatly appreciated. So without further ado, let's jump into today's video. Alright guys, so starting off the guide with gem grab, starting off with a double swoosh. Also, the gameplay in the background is just going to be Power League gameplay, so it won't really match the map every single time because it's a lot of maps to actually get gameplay for. But anyways, starting off with double swoosh, so the best picks and bans for this one, definitely it's going to be the best pick for sure. It's going to be Gene in the middle. He's just too good as a gem carrier. There's no other gem carrier that can really match with Gene at all on this map. He's always been number 1 mid inside a double swoosh, just being able to scout the grass. So either if you don't have him as a first pick, you got to make sure he's out and banned. If you have him first, if you have the first pick, make sure you're not banning Gene because you want to try and get him. But as you can see by the lanes as well, Tara and Amber are such good lanes. Tara is just amazing, a turnaround brawler. And then Amber's just a good counter to Tara and also just at breaking up the grass and whatever else. And then you can see by the next best picks as well. In the middle, honestly, like a Sandy and Stu might sound really weird, but I think they're the next best mids if you don't manage to get the Gene. Sandy can just be really good because if anyone pushes up to you, you can just get your super for free. And all these other lanes as well can be pretty good. Same with like Primo and Buzz. You can use El Primo as a last pick. I would never recommend using a tank as a first pick. Alright guys, so now moving on to Undermined. As you can see again, Gene going to be by far the best pick or ban. So just like I spoke about before, make sure you're banning accordingly in that way. Bale is also an amazing mid or a lane on this map, so again you can pick that one. Buzz can be really good. Not many people are going to have Buzz unlocked, so I try not to include Buzz too much, but Buzz is really strong in his meta, so just take that into consideration. Rico's an amazing lane because he doesn't really get countered by many brawlers, and he can also counter tanks really well in case the enemy goes that with his speed, star power. Stu is still amazing inside of a meta right now. Even without his knockback feature, I still think he's one of the best brawlers in the game. You've got Ruffs down the lane, you've got 8-bit as a mid in case some of the other mids are taken. Max can also be a good synergy brawler still, even with the nerf. And El Primo and Sprout, these are the 2 brawlers which I wouldn't really recommend picking, well, pretty close in the start of the pick stage because these can be countered really easily. But if you've got the last few picks, I do recommend picking these brawlers. Okay guys, so next up we have Minecart Madness, and again I don't think the meta has actually changed too much from the last time we actually spoke about things, but Gene inside a gem grab, the best gem carrier by far. You've got to make sure you're banning accordingly. Again, for this one, Belle is really toxic on this map because again you can use her as a mid or a lane, and she's just going to be able to ricochet like crazy on this map, especially with the minecarts. It can be such a toxic trait. Crow is just amazing down the lane because he can just slow so many different brawlers and just overall doesn't really get countered too much on Minecart Madness. Amber, amazing lane. Stu, really good as well. Max is still pretty good. In the meta, you can use her either lane or mid. You've got Sprout again. So Sprout, El Primo, you've got to kind of see what your enemy goes. So you want to see if they've got not a lot of tank counters. And obviously if they've got tank counters, then you can use Sprout. But if they haven't got any tank counters, then you can probably look to use the tankier options like the El Primos, like the Bulls. So that can be a really good option. But yeah, overall, these are the best picks. Alright guys, so lastly, we have Undermined in the rotation, a new map in Gem Grab, way better than some of the previous ones. But anyways, Gene, mid. Best mid, by far best brawler you've got to be using inside a gem grab. Tara and Crow are by far the best lanes as well, so if you can at least guarantee yourself one of those, you're going to be having a good time because you have Tara with pets which you're able to push back in the enemy team. You have Crow who's able just to scout the bushes so easily, and then Slow to confirm an easy kill. So if you don't manage to get Gene inside of a mid, you've got 3 great options here, or even 4 because I didn't even include 8-bit in this graphic. So you've got lots of Stu. Stu's an amazing mid without Gene in the meta. It sounds kind of crazy, but honestly Stu, you should try it out. He's actually a really good mid. You've got Belle, you've got Sprout, and you've got 8-bit. Other good lanes as well. Ems is just really good at pressure, at just scouting the bushes, and a good counter to Tara if you want to use the Ems. You've got Amber as well. She's able to break open the grass, and obviously if you're breaking open the grass, you're going to have a much easier time of bursting down opponents. Buzz and El Primo the same with tanks. So tanks are really good in this meta, but not in Power League overall. And yeah, those are going to be the best picks in this game. Alright guys, so next up we have Heist, and starting off with Hot Potatoes. So with tanks buffed, tanks are going to be absolutely amazing on Heist. This is probably the one map which Colette is just absolutely amazing on. So if you can ban Colette and tanks are going to be really, really strong. So for me, I would either pick Colette or ban it, so making sure that you can kind of control the outcome on that one. El Primo and Bull are going to be absolutely amazing, even with the tank counters. I think in Heist, they're just able to get so much pressure, because with Bull, you can just constantly charge up with his Stomper gadget. El Primo, you can basically confirm a super after a couple of deaths, and then you're able to kill a lot of these Heist brawlers pretty simply. Rico is just going to be amazing, especially if the enemy team's got a tank. You can't really counter Rico on Hot Potato. It's like his best map inside of a game. You can use either Star Power. I'll probably recommend using the speedy one though. And then the likes of Barley, you can either use the heal one if you've got no tanks, or you can use the Sticky Syrup gadget and counter the tanky brawlers. Then you've got the likes of Ems, Buzz, Cole's just really good overall. Jesse's a good another good mid option on this map, but overall tanks can be pretty punishing on this map. So next up we have Pit Stop, a new map into the Power League rotation as well. And if you guys know, I absolutely love Pit Stop, probably my favorite Heist map, because you're allowed to play tanky options on this map, and especially with the bus now, Bull and El Primo are going to be by far the best picks on this map. It doesn't matter what the enemy team uses, you're still going to be able to get a lot of damage onto the Heist safe with either El Primo or Bull. Bull's probably the better option because you can break open the walls a lot easier and just get a lot more damage. But El Primo can be good for control as well. Rico, just another good option on Heist. He's really good against tanks and good against control comps as well inside of these type of maps. Then the likes of Barley. Barley, even though there's a lot of tanks here, again, you can use the Sticky Syrup gadget. And it's just really good at controlling the lanes and can be good at taking down those counters to the tanks. You've also got the M's, who can be just really good. Stu's just good against those, well, good against everything. It's actually good at getting away from the tanks because of its dash, and then also good at capitalizing on the squishier brawlers as well. But yeah, these are going to be the best picks for Pit Stop. It's going to be a really fun map. Okay, so next up we have a Safe Zone. So again, the meta really hasn't changed too much. I think this should be pretty much the exact same from last time. But I do definitely recommend banning the likes of Colette or a Colt, because those are going to be the brawlers that are going to get a lot of damage on the safe if left alone. Colette, as you guys know, in Heist, probably the best Heist brawler, and then Colt just on this map because you're able to break open the lanes a lot easier. It's a lot easier to hit shots than a Brock, so it can be really toxic. So in the middle as well, you want probably one of three brawlers. You either want a Bell, a Piper, or a Byron, depending on what the enemies pick. I think Piper is the best out of those three, and then the Bell, and then Byron. Bell you can also play down the lane, so if you somehow manage to get Piper and Bell, Bell is easy to go down the left hand lane. She can counter a lot of these brawlers because she can free shot them. And then the likes of, as well, as you can see, the Amber just really good at getting damage down the lane. You can pop her gadget and just do a ton of damage onto the Heist safe. And even though the armor change has impacted it a little bit, I think ever since the little slight buff where you get a third of your armor back, Amber has returned to the Heist meta. So you got the likes of Brock as well, another good wall break option. He's going to get a lot of damage with his incendiary style power, and then it kind of just depends on what the enemy comp use. But as you can see by the best picks, I feel like the top of the list don't really get countered too much. Alright guys, so going on to Spring Onions, another new Heist map in the Power League rotation. I really like this map. Again, another map which is highly dependent on the tanks, but I know Primo going to be really good. Rico is really toxic down the lane on this map, but not a lot of brawlers can actually take him down. Tara is actually amazing down the mid or the lane here because you've got her pets, and there's a lot of tanks here, so it can be really good at taking those down. M's really good at scanning bushes, and especially if you get that super, there's a lot of walls, a lot of choke points, which M's is going to really thrive on. Spike can be really good because a lot of this time there's a lot of bushes you can sneak in, get a ton of damage. And then there's also a lot of other good brawlers. Amber really good at breaking the bush as well. This is a really sneaky map, and tanks again are pretty much going to dominate this map. Alright guys, so now going into Bounty, we have the return of Layer Cake, one of my favorite bounty maps in the game. And as you can see, I don't think the meta has really changed up too much on this map. The likes of it, Tick, Sprout, and Gina just going to be really amazing for the first picks, because even if they go a counter to it, I just think these bounty brawlers are just too good to actually ignore. And then you got the likes of Bell and Piper. They can patrol the mid or the lane. You've got likes of Stu. Stu can just be really good because you put his gadget in the back, allow the throwers or the sharpshooters to get that little bit of speed boost, allow them to win the matchup a lot easier. Then you got the Coles down the lane. Cole can just be really good at a certain pressure, especially with his gadget. You can just gadget up a lane, get a ton of pressure. And then there's a lot of kind of assassin-like brawlers. You want to kind of see how their composition kind of develops. And then in the last few picks that you have, either your second pick or the third pick, see what brawlers they've got, and then try and choose your assassin brawler. So you've got likes of Cole, Mortis, Buzz, El Primo. Even you can go the likes of Bull as well to take these type of brawlers down. But yeah, layer cake really hasn't changed too much from last time. All right, guys, so next up we have Canal Grande. You're gonna have to bear with me. I don't have a lot of actual gameplay for this because it gets removed out of my backlog quite quickly. But yeah, anyways, going into Canal Grande. So again, I thought tanks were going to really heavily dominate this map, but I don't think tanks are as good on this map. Tick is still going to be absolutely insane on Canal Grande. His scouting ability, his heads that he can keep cycling is still going to be really, really good. So these are best picks for Canal Grande. I feel like it's just kind of the same meta as Layer Cake as well. You can also opt to go for like a Cole or a Rosa, more aggro brawler, because they're really good against the likes of Tick, against the likes of Sprout. Wouldn't really recommend going an aggro brawler if they have a Gene. It can be a tough time for you to really get any value, especially when there's just a Gene just sitting around waiting with his pull. You can't really push that. So yeah, it's got to bear that in mind, but these are going to be the best picks overall for Canal Grande. All right, guys, so now hopping into dry season. I haven't got any more bounty gameplay for some reason. Again, my backlog just doesn't actually save too many battles, so I didn't actually manage to get any gameplay for this. But anyways, moving on to dry season. So again, with the first picks, you got a Gene, Bell, and Tick. I think Gene and Tick are going to be the most toxic because it can be really hard for aggro brawlers to actually push up against like a Tick or a Gene inside of bounce. If you just have really good scanning abilities, eventually we're going to get their supers, which really do hard counter those tanky brawlers. So if I was you, I would be banning the likes of Gene if they have the first pick. If not, make sure you got that Gene on lockdown. So as you can see as well, Stu can pair really well with throwers. You can put that gadget all the way in spawn and they're going to have a really good time at dodging and pushing up. Ruffs can be really good on side of this map, especially if you get that first star. What Ruffs enables you to do, if you use the healing style power with like a thrower or a Gene or even a long range brawler, you can just sit behind the walls. This map is a really defensive map, so once you got the lead, make sure you sat behind those walls, let them push up, and with a Ruffs you've got these sandbags, and eventually they're going to feed you that upgrade. You can give it to your carry brawlers like for Sprouts, for Ticks. They're going to be able to just absolutely dominate on this map. So as you see, make sure you're not really picking the sharpshooter brawlers if there's a lot of throwers on the enemy team. But yeah, again, you can actually get away probably with using El Primo as the final pick. All right, guys, so going on to the final bounty map, which is Shooting Star. So the Shooting Star meta actually has changed a little bit. I don't really see nowhere near as much as well Nanny anymore, because the main thing with Nanny, she's actually changed in her super damage, and a lot of times she can't actually even one-shot a lot of brawlers. So I don't really recommend banning Nanny first place. Still a decent pick, but I think the best pick on this map is Piper. Piper is absolutely insane on this map, so I'd recommend either trying to get the Piper or ban the Piper. So as you can see, still the best four brawlers is probably the same: the Piper, Bell, Nanny, and Tick. Still really good options overall. I think Max is a really good counter to a lot of these brawlers. Even with the nerf, I think Max, really aggro Max, can be really good against those long range brawlers and just good at a certain pressure. Gene's just going to be really good at chipping down at range. Byron, another sharpshooter on this map. I think Brock would only be good as a last pick, because even though he can break up the walls if they face like a Tick or a Sprout, he's just going to have a tough time against any aggression. But those are going to be the best picks in Shooting Star. Alright, guys, so moving on to Brewball. First up, we have Pinball Dreams. Again, I don't have any gameplay actually of any of the Brewballs, so you're going to have to watch some scrim gameplay for now. But anyways, moving on to the best picks. So the best picks, I feel like for every single Brewball map, it's going to be Gene. Gene basically is a brawler that you can't counter really at all inside of this meta. So Gene is always a safe first pick. You also have Tara and Bell. Tara is insane on every single Brewball map right now, especially with her new gadget, and with Bell as well, really good in mid. So you can see by the lanes as well, you're probably going to see these consistent lanes in Brewball a lot of the times. The likes of Ems, you got Rico who can be good in mid. Barley is amazing on this map because of these walls. He can just sit behind there and counter a lot of these different lane brawlers. You got the likes of Surge, Stu, Cole, and Nita as well. So it's all kind of dependent on what your enemy picks, and then you can react with one of these picks. Okay, guys, so going on to another new map that is returning it with Pinhole Punt. So again, the likes of Gina Bell are just going to completely dominate in the middle. You've got to make sure you get one of those brawlers. Tara is going to be absolutely insane on the lane, definitely the best lane inside of Brewball right now. And then the likes of Ems. Ems is a really good counter to Tara. Nita, a good counter to Tara as well. Got Max, who can just be really good at scouting the bushes in the middle if you can't get that Gene on lockdown. Surge, always a good mid. Crow can be really good, especially at scouting that grass. And then once you get the slow, you can punish teams down. Stu's just going to be really good in Brewball overall right now. Really underrated pick inside of the meta right now. You've got Amber. Amber can just be really good, especially when you press the gadget. You can run in and just absolutely destroy anyone. And then Carl as well, a really good option. But all of these brawlers are going to be really good. On Pinhole Punt, he tends to really try and pinch at the lanes more than the mid so, because it's just so open. But yeah, that's going to be the best brawler. Okay guys, so and lastly for Brewball, I believe there's only 3 maps in the rotation. I've played a lot of Power League and spoke to a few people. I don't think there's any more than 3, but if there is, I'll put it down in the comment section below if I've missed out, but I believe there is 3. So the third one is Super Stadium, and again, the best mids for this map, you've got the likes of Jean, you've got the likes of B, Bell can even be a good mid as well. I've not actually got it on here, and other things as well, but they're going to be like the main mids on Super Stadium. And then again, it's just the same lanes with Brewball. It's always like the Taras, the Barleys, the Surge, the M's. It's just all dependent on what your enemy picks, and then you've got to try and counter it the best that you can. And Rust actually is a really underrated pick on this map because you can use the wall break star power, and you literally 2 supers can break the left and right lane, opening it up, especially if you're up against like a Barley or a Surge. Rust can be a really good counter. Alright guys, so now moving on to Hot Zone with Split. So traditional map, I really don't think much has changed other than the fact that Primo is still pretty broken in the meta, so kind of got to play it as always, as you always know, with Split. So the best pick, I believe, is going to still be Tick, because Tick's just really good at spamming down the lanes. Then it's kind of up to you. So if the enemy team picks a Surge, you got to pick a Ruffs, and then if the enemy team picks a Ruffs, you don't want to pick Surge. Kind of that logic behind it, because those 2 well, Ruffs hard counter Surge, so that's going to be like the main matchup here. And then it's just kind of dependent on what you really want to go. You can go a Barley or a Tick in the middle. You can even opt for like a wall break option. Sprout can also be a good mid as well. Jean surprisingly can actually be good down the right hand lane to hold. I know not a lot of people might not actually want to opt to use that one, but honestly it's actually pretty decent. M's can be good as well, but not really a lot of options on Split. Quite a stalemate. Alright guys, so now moving on to dueling beetles, and still with a rotation. Don't think anything really has changed except for Buzz and Primo. Buzz can be really good. I know a lot of people haven't got him unlocked, so I try not to talk about him as much as possible. But once you get him unlocked, I think he's pretty broken, especially on every single game mode right now. And the same, I really like the Lou and Amber combination. If you can get either one of those brawlers, basically Lou, he can stop so much with that super. One super can literally block off everything. And just once you get the first Lou super, the hardest thing is getting that first Lou super. Once you get that first one, you can just keep cycling over and over again. Amber's just really good, especially because there's 3 main choke points. There's not a lot of room to move on this map, so literally 1 super with Amber's going to block completely 1 lane. It can only go down the other 2 lanes. But as you can see, again, like the Stu can be really good if you put a gadget in the back of a spawn. M's just really good for pressure. Bell can be really good, especially down a lane. She can free tap a lot of the meta brawlers right here. And again, the likes of Tick and Sprout, you don't want to be picking those brawlers first. Leave them towards the last, and you're going to be pretty good. Alright guys, now moving on to parallel plays. So again, Jean just is good everywhere right now. Honestly, he's really good everywhere. This is why I put him as number 3 in the rankings, because he's pretty much just uncounterable. He's just really good defensive brawler. Not a lot of people can actually take him on once he gets that super. So the way you really want to play it, you got to kind of decide what defensive brawlers you really have. So Jean is a really good defensive brawler. The likes of Jessie can be good in both offensive and defensive. Bell can be pretty much good on all 3 lanes, left, middle, and right. That's kind of how you want to operate things. So the more offensive brawlers, the likes of Stu, Amber, and probably Jessie, I would say the more offensive brawlers that you can put down the right hand lane. You want the mid brawlers to be like a Jessie or a Bell, a bit more range to them. And then defensive lane, you want something that can easily push back brawlers like a Gale, or again like a Jessie with a turret. He can be really flexible with these picks, but for sure make sure you're assessing the enemy comp and try and counter them as much as possible. Alright guys, so moving on to the last hot zone map in the rotation, which is Ring of Fire. Personally, one of my favorite maps inside of the game. So again, just like other hot zone maps, Lou and Amber are just so toxic on hot zone. They can just got so much aerial denial. It's just such an OP trait to have. So they're definitely the best 2 brawlers. And then Belle in the middle on this map is just absolutely insane. Honestly, I'll probably even pick Belle first because of how strong she is. If you don't manage to get your hands on Belle, you've got other mids that you can choose from. The likes of Lou, the likes of Jean, even the likes of Piper or B. if he actually needs to, if all the other mids are like banned or taken up. But like Stu, again, can just be really good. Stu is amazing everywhere right now, such a versatile brawler. You don't really need that knockback to do a lot of damage, especially if you use the gas to heal star power. Surge can be really good down the right hand lane, because what you can do, you can hide inside of the bush and then TP into mid. If anyone gets into mid, get a free level, and it can just be really toxic. It does so much damage. Rico can be good down the lane. Sprout can be good as a last pick, because he can just block off a lot of the map with his walls. Ruff's really good as well, and even El Primo. So those are going to be all the best comps inside of Hot Zone. Alright guys, now jumping on to the last game mode, which is Siege. Again, I haven't got much gameplay for this one, so you're going to have to bear with me. It's just going to be scrim gameplay again, but with some assembly required. The best picks, it's just going to be kind of standard. Primo is actually going to be an amazing pick inside of Siege, because even if you counter him, he's just really good at getting damage on the Ike, and also just his supers basically going to be countering everyone, especially with all the walls. It's going to be really hard to deal with a Primo on this map. So Junior is going to be the #1 pick, and then you've got like the bolt collectors that you can actually run, the likes of Cole, really good, BB, really good, Stu, really good at collecting those bolts, and then again, you just got to alternate for those counter picks. Okay guys, next up we have bot drop, and again the same meta. I don't think anything has changed about bot drop whatsoever. Literally no buffs or nerfs have really changed anything about the meta. So again, just play it like you always really know it with bot drop. The best bans and picks are going to be the likes of Bell, Gene, and Crow. Crow is going to be amazing on the first robot, because you've got the slows, especially if you pair this with like a Bell or a Piper or a B. You're going to be taking down those brawlers so easily, and with bot drop, it's always about that first round, so make sure you try and secure that as quickly as possible. But yeah, it's always just got to try and counter picking with these ones, but these are going to be the best brawlers to pick on bot drop. Alright guys, so next up we have Factory Rush. So with this meta, it is pretty toxic. So for me, I think the #1 brawler is Lou, but the other thing about Lou is that if you actually pick him, the enemy team can actually counter him really well. So yeah, as I said, the whole meta revolves around Lou, because you can get that super onto the defensive wall and basically defend it really easily with him. So for me, you've got to either pick like a counter pick to Lou if the enemy has it, so like either a Barley or a wall break to make sure that they can't get that defense well, or obviously pick a Lou yourself. So with a Lou, you can literally defend every single robot 100% of the time, except for the last push, so it's going to be really easy. And then for me, Bell's going to be really good as a sharpshooter. Cole's going to be really good at collecting bolts. I don't think I've got him on the graphic, but he's going to be really good at collecting those bolts. But it's just always up to trying to work your comps around that loop. Alright guys, I'm moving on to the final Siege map, which is Nuts and Bolts. Again, the meta really hasn't changed much, except for Bulls and Primo. They're going to be really good on this map. Gene going to be like the #1 pick. It's just so versatile everywhere. Sprout's going to be really good because he can get a 100% defense with his gadget. If you literally place your wall down the left or the right in your defensive area, you're going to be able to control the robot and get that defense off. And then the picks are going to be just the same for every single Siege map, really. Got the likes of M's just really good at pressure. Cole really good at collecting bolts. Surge just a good counter pick to a lot of brawlers right now. Stu, Bell, and Bull. So all of these brawlers are going to be OP. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this Power League guide. It took me a lot of time to actually create this, so I appreciate all of your support in the comment section below. But yeah, let me know if I've missed out anything. Let me know your thoughts on the Power League guide if you like these type of videos. But that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.